The pads aren't even on yet, but someone's already ballin' out in Ashburn. Second-year DB Mike Sainstill is back in his natural position and back to locking things down at training camp. At the same time, Jaden Daniels finally spoke on the elephant in the room, Terry McLaurin's contract holdout. There's talent everywhere, tension building, and spots up for grabs. And the best part? It's only week 1 of training camp. Hit that subscribe button and drop a footy in the comments if you're loving what you're hearing about this defense already. Let's get into it. Let's start with the biggest story so far. Mike Sainstill is back in the nickel and thriving. He was a revelation last season, drafted 50th overall, stepped up immediately, and played far beyond expectations. His motor? Nonstop. His IQ? Elite. His ceiling? Now looking even higher. Last year, Joe Witt Jr. had to move him to the boundary because Washington had issues. Guys like Benjamin St-Juste, Michael Davis, and Emmanuel Forbes Jr. couldn't hold it down. So, what did Sainstill do? He stepped up and excelled outside. But this year, with Marshon Lattimore healthy, Jonathan Jones signed, and Trey Amos drafted in round 2, Washington finally has depth on the outside. And that means one thing. Sainstill goes back to doing what he does best, dominating the slot. Word out of Ashburn is simple. Sainstill is flying around and breaking up passes like he's in mid-season form. On day 2 alone, he notched multiple pass breakups, blanketed slot receivers, and showed exactly why he's considered a potential cornerstone of this defense. Joe Witt Jr. already knows he's got a chess piece. He just got to put it back in the right square. And schematically, you better believe the Commanders are building packages to weaponize Sainstill's instincts, aggression, and elite short area quickness. Here's the bottom line. The Commanders' secondary went from being a liability to a legit strength. Marshon Lattimore, healthy and moving like his all-pro self. Jonathan Jones, proven veteran, 2-time Super Bowl champ, still sticky in man coverage. Trey Amos, raw but athletic, a second-round pick with tools. Noah Igbinoghene, quietly re-signed, another depth option who flashed in 2024. And Mike Sainstill, already looking like a top 5 nickel DB in the league. If these guys stay healthy, this might be the most complete DB group Washington's had in years. Now, let's switch sides of the ball. We finally heard from Jaden Daniels about what everyone is thinking. Where is Terry McLaurin? And how does his holdout affect their chemistry? Daniels was calm, cool, and confident. Hopefully very, very quickly, whenever that time is. I know it's not going to take much because I know how Terry moves, but now it's more about getting him back in football shape. So what does that tell us? 1, he's not panicking. 2, he trusts their connection. 3, he just wants his W1 back. But let's be real. Every day McLaurin isn't out there, the offense misses reps, timing, and rhythm. The longer it goes, the worse it gets. Let's not sugarcoat it. This Terry McLaurin holdout is getting uncomfortable. He missed OTAs, missed minicamp, still absent from training camp. And we all know the danger. You miss camp, you miss time with your QB, and come week 1, you're not in game shape. Washington is installing a new offense. Jaden Daniels is still a young QB. This time matters. The team needs their captain, their top weapon, their heartbeat on offense. They need 17 back in uniform. Let's be honest. Terry McLaurin deserves a deal. He's been the most consistent player on this roster since he was drafted. No diva attitude, no off-the-field drama, just production, leadership, and toughness. You want to win? Pay your best players. This team is building something real. Dan Quinn is turning this locker room into a brotherhood, and McLaurin is supposed to be part of that core. It's time to end the drama and get him back out there. Despite the McLaurin situation, the mood around Ashburn is electric. Dan Quinn's practices are intense. Position battles are real. Veterans like Von Miller and Bobby Wagner are leading with purpose. And the young guys? They're following fast. Jaden Daniels looks more decisive, Brian Robinson is running angry, and the defense fast, physical, confident. If this team stays healthy and if they get Terry back in time, this could be a problem squad for the NFC. While all the offseason hype might be surrounding Jaden Daniels and the ongoing contract drama with Terry McLaurin, it was the defense that stole the spotlight on day 3 of training camp. And honestly, that's exactly what Dan Quinn wants. Quinn made his name in this league as a defensive wizard, And now, in his first year at helm in Washington, he's making it very clear that if this team is going to dethrone the Eagles and shake up the NFC East, it's going to start with the other side of the ball. From the opening whistle, the energy was different. The communication, the urgency, the speed, and above all, the takeaways. Let's talk about the secondary, because folks, it's almost unrecognizable from the group we saw struggle under Ron Rivera the past few years. 3 interceptions were tallied in full 11 on 11s. That's not a typo. 3. Mike Sainstill, who has quickly become one of the most vocal and versatile defenders in camp, Tyler Owens, the second-year safety whose athleticism is turning heads, and rookie Trey Amos, who showed up and snatched a ball out of the air like a veteran. This group isn't just playing fast, they're playing confident. They're attacking routes, baiting throws, disguising coverages. It's a far cry from the passive, reactive secondary we've seen in years past. One of the more under-the-radar signings this offseason was veteran corner Jonathan Jones, a 2-time Super Bowl champ with New England. But if you watch Day 3 closely, you saw just how valuable his experience and speed are going to be for this defense. Dan Quinn even took time to praise Jones's professionalism during his presser, calling out his leadership and urgency in transition. If Jones ends up as the 4th cornerback behind Marshawn Lattimore, Amos, and Sainstill, you know you're stacked. No disrespect to the corners Washington trotted out last year, but Jones already looks like a clear upgrade on that stack, and that says a lot about the bar being raised across the board. Now, let's talk about a name Commanders fans need to keep in mind: Tyler Owens. He made his name on special teams in 2024, flying down the field with reckless abandon. But here in 2025, he's taking first-team reps at 2 positions, safety and nickel. This is no fluke. He's earning it. Coaches have praised his football IQ, his willingness to learn, and his sideline-to-sideline range. And let's not forget, he's still just in his 2nd year. If Tyler Owens keeps trending like this, he could become one of the breakout stars of this defense, and a symbol of how this coaching staff is developing talent, not just acquiring it. Let's shift to Quan Martin, the Swiss Army knife in the defensive backfield. Martin has been working across multiple roles, including free safety, and continues to flash the versatility that made him a 2nd-round pick. He's not just reacting anymore, he's anticipating. That's the Joe Witt Jr. effect. Witt, who worked miracles with the Cowboys' defense secondary under Dan Quinn, is now applying the same aggressive ball-hawking philosophy in Washington, and the results are showing fast. This secondary isn't trying to just survive anymore, they're trying to dictate the terms. But we're not stopping at the DBs. The linebacker room might be the biggest upgrade on the entire roster. Washington went from a linebacker wasteland to having 2 of the most decorated players in the league, Von Miller and Bobby Wagner. Wagner is 34 and somehow still playing like he's 27. He picked off Jaden Daniels on a throw intended for Zach Ertz, and you could feel the ripple effect. Daniels, who already has a strong bond with Wagner, came off the field smiling, shaking his head. It wasn't frustration, it was respect, and it was learning. Miller, meanwhile, has taken on a mentorship role. He's working with young edge rushers between reps, teaching technique, teaching mindset. And according to players and coaches alike, the tone in the room is completely different now. This new energy on defense doesn't just impact the defensive unit. It bleeds into everything. The offense has to raise the urgency. Daniels has to make tighter reads. Receivers have to fight through press. It's iron sharpening iron, and you can already feel the competition heating up. Daniels even said after practice that watching how Wagner processes the game is helping him slow things down and understand where the soft spots are in coverage. That's next-level development. That's the kind of camp growth you can build a season around. It's easy to say defense is ahead of offense early in camp. That's always the cliche. But this doesn't feel like your standard camp storyline. This feels like a coordinated takeover. Dan Quinn didn't come to Washington to oversee a rebuild. He came to establish a new standard, especially on defense, and on Day 3, we saw exactly what that looked like. This defense isn't just reacting to what's coming, it's dictating tempo, it's setting the tone, it's winning reps. And for the first time in a long time, it looks like the Commanders have a defensive identity worth believing in. So here's where we stand. Mike Sainstill is back in the nickel and already looking elite. Dan Quinn's defense is clicking early, Daniels is calm but wants his W1 back, and the longer Terry McLaurin is out, the more costly it could become. Let's hear from you in the comments.
Will Sainstill become a breakout star in 2025? Is Jaden Daniels right to stay patient with Terry? Should the front office just get it done already? Drop your takes below, smash that like button, and subscribe to Commanders HQ for nonstop coverage, film breakdowns, and camp updates straight from Ashburn. This team is building something, and we're not missing a moment of it. HHTC.